Did you know that in ancient Egypt, people paid their taxes with honey? Did you know that the buzz that you hear when a bee is approaching is the sound of its 4 wings moving at 1,400 strokes per minute? And did you know that a bee can fly up to 15 miles per hour? Well, you're probably wondering what all the buzz is about, and you've probably guessed by now that we're going to be talking about bees. We're going to go over their role in nature, why bees need to be protected, and how you can help our bees. Most people think that all bees are honeybees or that all bees make honey, but that's actually not the case with most of our busy little friends. According to Amy Hackney in her article titled Bees, she states that of the more than 20,000 known bee species, only 6 are honeybees. The rest are pollen bees, also known as solitary bees or wild bees. This means they live in nests, not in a hive, and they go around pollinating and eating nectar from flowers on their own without a colony. And bee expert Sean Adams, in his article titled The Busiest of Bees, states that all of bees' physical features and behavior make them excellent pollinators. They have a long tongue called a proboscis that reaches into a flower to collect nectar. And as they're doing so, pollen sticks to their legs and abdomens, which have fuzzy fur all around it that's sticky. And then when it visits another flower, the pollen comes off and fertilization for the flower can occur. So, according to Lori Panico, in her article from 2016 in Environmental Studies, she states that there are 4,000 native bee species in North America, and they support our natural ecosystems by keeping a healthy diversity among pollinators, which 30% of all of our agricultural crops rely on bee pollination, and 90% of wild plants rely on pollination as well. Then she reveals the startling statistic that 23% of our nation's bee population has been wiped out and is still steadily declining. So there is no substitution for the work that bees do in our world. Humans have never successfully created a technology that can pollinate plants as quickly or as efficiently as bees do. Which leads me to my next point, why bees need to be protected. According to Dr. Alice Margaret, many hives across the planet suffer from CCD, or colony collapse disorder. It's a strange occurrence in which worker bees, after leaving the colony to collect nectar, do not return to the colony, and they leave behind honey, a queen, and pollen stores with no workers. This phenomenon not only poses a threat to the steadily declining bee population, but also to our planet's food supply. California's $3 billion a year almond industry is almost completely reliant on bee pollination. With CCD, pollination costs 3 times more, and it also continues to raise food prices. Though there's not a specific cause for CCD, it can be caused by a multitude of things, such as megafarming, pesticides, parasites that bees are susceptible to, and habitat loss. So bees are vital to life on Earth. Almost 90% of all plants, including many of our crops, are pollinated by bees of various types. Bees are the world's most important pollinators. 1/3 of North Americans' diet, directly or indirectly, relies on bee pollination. So here's how we can help our bees. You can become a beekeeper. Whether large scale or casual, the steps are sort of the same. First, you need to learn about bees and their honey. This can be done through reading books, going online and researching, or simply watching bee documentaries. Another great step to take would be to connect with local beekeepers. And you might be wondering how you can find those local beekeepers, but what a lot of people don't know is that your local greenhouse probably also serves as a lot of their workers probably have bees. And they're ready to help encourage people in our area to keep bees. Or if you can't find beekeepers in your area, there's a lot of online communities that are ready to offer tips and advice on how to keep your own bees. Then you would need to explore beehive options. You need to look at how much they cost, how much space you have, and just what works best for the land that you have. Then you need to learn the beekeeping tasks so that you know what you're getting into when getting some bees. Then you need to order your supplies. So for some of us, beekeeping is simply not a want or even an option. And so another cost-efficient way that we can help our bees is by having bee hotels. Bee hotels imitate the natural way that solitary and wild bees live in the wild. But due to increasing habitat loss, a lot of solitary and wild bees are having a hard time finding places to live. So you can make your own bee hotel. This can be a fun family craft and they can be as creative as you'd like. There are a lot of online ideas out there, but the most simplest would be taking an old tin can, filling it with hollowed out bamboo sticks and nesting material, and hanging it up on your porch and just waiting for the bees to arrive. The third and most simplest way you can help our bees is by planting flowers, especially early blooming spring flowers that give honeybees and solitary and wild bees alike the chance to get a head start on the collecting season. These flowers include hyacinth, primrose, clover, bleeding hearts, marigolds, any sort of flowering trees, petunias, and many more. It will provide a safe place for bees to land and collect nectar unhindered and help your garden as well. These bees will also pollinate all plants nearby. So that's a really great cost-efficient way to help out bees in our area. So in conclusion, we've talked about bees today. We've talked about their roles in nature, why bees need to be protected, and how you can help. So whether you want to have your own bees, make a cost-efficient bee hotel, or simply plant a few flowers in your yard, if we can all do our part, we can make the world a different place for these busy pollinators, and in turn, they'll make the world a better place for us. So I'd like to end with a quote from Johann Wolfgang. He says that flowers are full of honey, but only the bees find out the sweetness.